So, let's get back to this.
All right.
Basically, the whole idea is that before you get to college, whether it is community school or university, mostly this is going to be community school here, you have at least written one research paper, a real research paper. And part of this is to do several things. Learn how to research, period. Learn MLA style. Now, before I start, okay, nobody's going to hit me with MLA versus APA versus Chicago School. Fine, because it's got to be done MLA.
Miss
Okay.
Savage had us do MLA all the time.
What?
Miss Savage had us do MLA all the time.
Yeah, I know.
What's MLA?
Okay, it's the style, it's the format in which you write your papers.
Like where you indent.
I've forgotten the exact thing means, but let me check it out. Thank you. Come on. Up. Okay. MLA. It's not Major League. Okay, it's not Major League anything. It is. What does it stand for? Format. Okay, no form.
Major League Aquatics.
I don't know. Okay. Okay, Modern Language Association. Okay, I thought we leave it from legal. Okay, it's the Modern Language, founded in 1883. The MLA describes itself as an organization that provides members up to, never mind, but that's what it stands for. Modern Language Association format. And therefore, you will put the page number on this part of the page. You will keep the font size, the type of font. You will
Font size
basically
12.
the headings will be a certain way, and the citations will be in the body of the writing. Now, put away the cell phone, please, because we need to pay attention to this part.
The font
Okay.
would be 12.
Who did tall order?
Okay, so there are several styles. There's APA. If you were going to be a teacher or a psychologist, you learn American Psychological Association style. Don't worry, we're not doing that. But it is Modern Language Association. That's the one, the most used one. I personally, because I was a history major, used the Chicago School style. Okay, that's where, because we're not for readability issues, we're not citing in the body. We're using basically footnotes, either in the bottom of the page or in the back in a special section. So we'll be doing this. Now we do have a whole bunch of topics for you. Okay, you learn. Like I said, you're going to learn to do this MLA style. By the way, scratch off the date because the date's no good.
4 years ago is not what
Yeah,
we're doing.
4 years ago, not current.
It.
Okay. Now, to give you an idea, we weren't able to give you a topic list because the copiers at the school have suddenly gone belly up. And I do mean belly up. I'm talking about bad junk. Okay. Give you an idea of topics, though. There are 95 topics here, and that doesn't mean that you have to choose one of them. You can give me another topic, something you're interested in. We have, number 13, in which ways did emancipated slaves exercise their freedom in the South? Number 17, which measures did the settlers take to overcome the challenges of living on the Great Plains? Were their efforts successful? Another one, what impact, this is number 25, did the Progressive era have on the status and involvement of government in American society in the early 20th century? Okay. Number 34, did the provisions of the Treaty of Versailles result in a positive major effect after the war? Explain. Okay, going through here. Number 46, what pressures did the American family experience during the Depression and how were they addressed? Oh my gosh, okay, lots of stuff. We go into Vietnam, into how the U.S. responded in 9/11. But there are the effects of the internet. The effects of the information revolution on American society. But you can get, you can do things. What are you interested in, Libby?
Art.
What form of art?
Can that be turned around? The effects of art, perhaps digital? The
There's-
digital movement of effects of art?
There's
That could be there
multiple
too.
forms of art.
There's a lot of stuff you can do with that. So when we get to that point, you can look around. Now, Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I can do that. So, if you're really interested in something, and Dutch, I need you up here, okay? I told the subject keep you up front. Okay. Okay. So, you okay with that? Okay. I need you up closer so I can always make sure you got your stuff. So you will be able to, if you come up with a good topic of your own, I'll let you do it. Now here's the thing we're at. You're going to need at least one or two primary sources. Let me explain that.
One source, the internet.
There's not almost never, it's seldom a primary source. But remember, if you do cite the internet in your bibliography or some article on the internet, you actually literally have to timestamp it. Okay?
Don't you put like quotes between like if you're like quoting someone?
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Let's see, plagiarism is right there, sir. Is punished severely. Primary sources. A primary source is a first-hand account. We're looking at first-hand accounts, okay? And they can come in a lot of different ways. My favorite one, well, I'm a Civil War freak, is the battle reports. Like on Rappahannock Station, which I'm deeply studying right now, basically the reports turned in by both the Union and the Confederate commanders. The Confederate commanders that did find themselves in prisoner war camps at the time. Also diaries, reminiscences, people who were there and saw it. Newspaper accounts couldn't quite because they're quoting somebody somewhere who saw it. Newspaper accounts are considered good also as a primary source, as long as it came out very close to the time in which the thing happened. That's a primary source. Diary of Anne Frank. Boy, what a primary source. Diaries are great. You get a wonderful look into the person who experienced it. The Diary of Mary Chestnut. What did upper-class civilians go through in the Civil War? She'll tell you. It's in their diary. Again, Civil War. Company H. The way that is like H. Company H. Basically, it's Sam Watkins telling you what happened in his experiences during as a Southern soldier. Or Soldiering by Rice C. Bull. You get the same thing from the northern side. You get their experiences, their firsthand. That's a primary source. That's the good stuff. Archaeology. Archaeology is a primary source. And you have to interpret it, but it's still a primary source. Now, a secondary source, basically stuff you get from a book.
I'm in that class. I'm 6 years.
So you're not in this class? Is it okay for him to go to the middle room of the office?
Why? I'm confused.
I told Mr. Wallace about...
Mr. Wallace said he could.
Okay, we'll catch it with Mr. Wallace later. Okay. Okay. Do me a favor, sir. Could you let Mr. Wallace know that Nick's headed over there for unknown reasons? Okay. We're good. Okay. Now, those are the type of sources, primary and secondary. Now, you read a history book, that's kind of a secondary source. It's a peer-reviewed journal, perhaps, but it's somebody's interpretation of what happened. Good stuff, but it's secondary. When you're after primary sources, you're after people's letters, diaries, newspaper accounts. Now, enough on the sources for a moment. Let's get to the next thing. Choosing a topic. Mr. Barlow knows from painful experience how important this is. When I was going to finish my senior dissertation at Sac State in 1978, I was going to be on European history, and I chose the abandonment of Poland by the victorious Allies after World War II. We abandoned it to the Soviets, I thought. I already had an opinion on that, which was stupid. Ran into problems on how much material I could get. And that was kind of the final hump for me. Married, I was married, and I kind of abandoned my degree. That was one of the things, but there were several others involved. When I went back at age 42, I was a lot wiser. first of all, it was going to be U.S. history I was going to do it on, because, hey, I know the language! It works! Okay? Really important, choosing. And our instructor was really good about getting his students through. So he gave us strict parameters on what the subject was going to be. It was going to be something in Sacramento during the years of the gold rush, 1848 to 1860, somewhere in there.
7 pages about that.
Well, whatever we choose. Actually, it's going to be 4 to 5 pages max. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to be that long. That's the basic thing. We are going to adapt this. No. He did that. But even then, some people went sideways. Chose topics where they were never going to find the appropriate information. One girl says, I'm doing mine on oysters. Canned oysters. Okay, we know who's not going to finish that paper and not going to graduate this year. Another one went, I'm doing mine on saloons. I thought, you stand a chance. When it was announced. And then when it came to mine, the celebration of the 4th of July, the guy looks at me, and says, bing, okay. We know who's going to finish it. Why? Well, the celebration of the 4th of July is going to be in everybody's diary, right? And what dates do you have to look at the diary? Do you have to skin the whole diary to find what you want? No. You generally go to either July 4th in the diary or 5th or 6th, depending on when they're going to get around to writing down what they did. Oh, newspapers. Do I have to look through all year long through newspapers? No. Okay. They're going to look for newspaper reporting of the 4th of July celebrations. Now, there was a lot of stuff I had to do, a lot of writing I had to do, a lot of sources I had to do, but did I kind of ensure that I had what I needed to do the paper? Yeah, I did. So, whatever topic you might be thinking about, you have fair warning. You need to make sure that the source material is there. Okay. Before you pick it.
Pick it.
Yeah, before you pick this particular topic. I will help guide you through that. But you kind of see what I'm talking about. Did I cheat? No. The whole idea was to write a massive 30-page paper in Chicago style format. And by the way, it was much better supported by the software of the day. Corel, WordPerfect, far above Microsoft for that particular style of writing. Far above. But then again, we're talking 1999. Okay. So, get an idea. So, when you choose your topic, choose it with care. Okay, off to the next part. I'll get you.
So the topic is.
Remember, I'll get you the topic list, the medic ready to go list, but you may choose something else as long as you talk to me. And you are going to have to think about it. You better not have a conclusion in mind already. It's going to be something you learn. This is the whole this learning experience, but also at the same time, it is learning how to write a research paper. This will count for most of you. Will count for your English classes. Libby, what do you have for English?
What do you mean?
Who do you have for?
Miss Savage.
It will count. Wallace, it will count. Savage, it will count. Savage, it will count. Wallace, for English? Okay, I think you're nodding, but I'm not sure. It could just be the earth moving, okay, a little bit. Okay, okay, it will count. Savage, or anybody else, it will count. This is part of, for a lot of regular ed, this is a lot of your English grade to go in here.
So write a biography about Miss Savage?
No! No, it will count as English. The writing will count as your English.
Oh, you mean like I have her class?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I misunderstood.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's get off that and let's get to the main part of today. You will have pretty much most of March and April, bits and pieces, you will be doing this. This is the major project of your junior year. Okay. Let's go to wait a minute, wrong thing. Let's go back to U.S. history, not that. Okay, I was about to make a major boo-boo. Okay. That's what happens sometimes when I get too busy doing stuff. Education and popular culture. Okay, for those who wants to go to someplace else, you do have terms and names. Okay, so that'll be TNN 13.3. We'll let you guys do that later. Let me get to the meat of the program. Basically, let me start it off with the first announcement. Good evenings, ladies and gentlemen at the radio audience. This is a big night. $3 million worth of boxing bugs are gathering around a seat at Soldier Field, Chicago. Here comes Jack Dempsey, climbing through the ropes, white flannels, long bathrobe. Here comes Tunney, the announcer shouting in the ring, trying to quiet 150,000 people. Robes are off. After punches flew for 7 rounds, Tunney defeated the legendary Jack Dempsey. So suspenseful was the brutal match that a number of radio listeners died of heart failure. The fight of the century was just one of a host of spectacles and events that transformed American popular culture in the 1920s. And think about radio, where everybody can listen to the same thing at the same time. Okay. During the 1920s, developments in education really sparked a revolution. First of all, there's only 1 million kids going to high school per year at before World War I. 1 million kids. And it's all college prep classes. It's all college prep. Okay? There's no high school for somebody who just wants to get a job after high school and go on. No, it's college prep. It kind of reminds you of today. And I'll say that with a certain mean sarcasm, because I think what we're doing is wrong. By 1926, you will actually, even earlier than that, you'll have 4 million kids a year in high school. And they're going to be learning things like drafting, mechanics, learning trades, you know, which we kind of need to go back to. Yes?
The test.
Test, yes, put it on my desk. And now I can finally fill out your form. Okay. Couldn't do that before I got the test back.
Alright.
Okay. So, education before the 1920s. Look at this. I've already done that. Before and during the 1920s. Okay, before. 1 million in high school. That's it. 1 million in high school. During the 1920s, by 1926, 4 million in high school. That is a 400% increase in kids in real secondary education. I'll give you an idea. My father-in-law, high school was available for him, but he had problems with the high school principal, didn't like him, so he dropped out. 1 or 2 days into the new school year for 9th grade. Quite legal. You only had to go through 8th grade at the time. And we're talking about, like, let's see, 2017, so 1927, 28, 29, about 1930. Okay? So, we figured 1929, 1930. So that's it. That's as far as he got all his life. Quite willingly. And his is the last generation that could pull that off and not suffer really adverse consequences. Was he'd pick up all the information he needed later in life? No. He's still, even to this day, a good working man and still one of the more ignorant people I've ever known. Okay? Sorry, he didn't go to high school, he didn't pick up the information he needed. And even though he worked for a living, mostly with the Army and then the Air Force when they split off, and then for civil service working at McClellan after that, he still was an astoundingly ignorant person. And no, we did not get along. Okay. Always so, because he just didn't know Jack, and he didn't respect people who did because he didn't know Jack. That is a huge break. Now the only people that can get away with only going to 8th grade are people of various, shall we say, specialized religious groups that they don't want their kids with other kids after that time. They think, once you learn how to be a farmer, that's all you need to be, and that's that. And we have to agree with that. Now taxes go screaming up for schools. Okay, I'm sorry, you're putting that many kids through high school, and you're really ramping up the curriculum everywhere. Taxes go up. We do get some protests. We got one guy that goes cuckoo and blows up a school and killing a bunch of kids. That was unfortunate. He was a. If you read about what he did, he was a crazy SOB anyway. But so America gets his first school massacre out of it, in Bath, Wisconsin. Let's go over that because that kind of stuff is just one of those things that happens, and it's always been that way. So he didn't like the taxes, and basically, but it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off big time. It goes from the courses. Let's see, this is number 1. Number 2 here. Okay, college prep. Of course, we're all college prep at first. Okay. Over here now it's vocational, which we need to get back to.